Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive into something that I think is going to be super relevant for all of us as authors.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
talking about
And
LLMs,
exponential thinking.
two topics that honestly can sound a little bit intimidating.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially if you're not like a tech person.
Right, exactly. Like, what does it have to do with my writing? But trust me, by the end of this, you're going to see how these things are going to be huge EE for authors.
Absolutely. I think what's really fascinating is how these two ideas, LLMs and exponential thinking, they're kind of intertwined. You
Yeah.
can't really grasp the potential of these LLMs unless you understand how quickly things are changing and how fast things are developing.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit,
Yeah.
starting with that idea of exponential thinking. I think a lot of us, we're used to things progressing in a way that feels pretty linear.
Yeah.
Like, you write a page a day, and after 30 days, you have 30 pages.
Right. It's a one-to-one.
Exactly. But technology, especially AI, it's not really playing by those rules anymore, is it?
It's not, no, it's definitely not linear. It's more like, you know that visual of a snowball rolling down a hill?
Yes.
It starts small, but then as it gathers more snow, it gets bigger and faster and bigger and faster.
Yeah.
That's kind of how these LLMs, these large language models, are developing. That's why I think it's so crucial to understand this whole concept of exponential growth.
Okay, so that brings us to the heart of the matter here.
Yeah.
LLMs. For anyone listening who maybe isn't quite sure what an LLM is,
Right.
could you give us that quick, breakdown? What are they and why should novelists care?
Well, you can almost imagine an AI that has read pretty much every book, every article, every blog post ever written.
Whoa.
That's basically what an LLM is at its core. It's been trained on just this massive amount of data,
Yeah.
so it can understand and even generate human language in a way that I think is pretty mind-blowing. I mean, we're talking about AI that can write different kinds of creative content, translate languages in real time, even recognize these complex patterns in text.
Wow.
And this is all happening because of that exponential growth in computing power we were just talking about.
Okay, so I got to admit, that's already making my head spin a little bit, just thinking about the possibilities here.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of authors, when they hear this, their first reaction might be like, okay, cool. But what does this actually mean for my writing?
Yeah.
Like, is a robot going to steal my job?
Yeah, I think that's a really common fear.
Right.
And it makes sense, but it's important to remember that at the end of the day, LLMs are tools.
Okay.
Think of it like having this super-powered research assistant
Right.
who can also brainstorm ideas with you and maybe even help you polish up your prose. But the heart of the story, the characters, those raw emotions, all that stuff, that still comes from you.
So it's less about AI taking over and more about AI becoming this incredible partner in the creative process.
Yeah.
Partner.
I
right.
love that too. But how do we actually use these tools? Like, how do we use them to make our writing better?
Well, that's where I think this whole exponential thinking piece comes in.
Okay.
It's not just about using the LLMs that exist today, right now. It's about understanding that these tools are going to keep getting more powerful, more sophisticated.
So it's like you said, we're used to that linear progress. But with LLMs, things are changing so rapidly that we need to be thinking ahead
Yes.
about what these tools will be capable of, tomorrow, next month, even next year.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm getting this feeling that if we don't really wrap our heads around this whole exponential thinking thing,
Yeah.
we're going to get left behind. But how do we even begin to anticipate what these tools are going to be able to do in the future? I mean, it feels like trying to predict what the internet would be like back when we were all on dial-up.
I love that analogy. And it's true, right? Like, predicting the future is impossible.
Yeah. But what we can do is look at the trends,
Okay.
see how quickly things are already changing, and then start asking those what-if questions.
Right.
Like, what if LLMs could help me brainstorm plot twists that are totally unexpected? What if they could help me create dialogue that feels so real it jumps off the page?
Okay, now those are some seriously cool what ifs. And I'm not going to lie, I'm starting to get pretty excited about what this could mean for my own writing.
Me too.
But I think there are a lot of authors out there who are maybe still feeling a little hesitant
Sure.
or even a little scared about all of this. They might be thinking, I'm not a tech person, this isn't for me.
Right.
What would you say to them?
I would say, first of all, you don't have to be a tech expert to benefit from these tools.
Okay.
You definitely don't have to be afraid of them. What you do need is a willingness to be curious,
Yeah.
to experiment, to see how these tools can empower you to tell better stories. Because ultimately, that's what it's all about, right? Using these advancements in AI to unleash creativity in ways that we've never seen before.
I love that.
Yeah.
Unleashing our creativity.
Yes.
And I think the first step is to really get a sense of what these LLMs can actually do for us
Right.
as writers. Like, can we dive into some specific examples?
Absolutely.
Because I think once people see the possibilities,
Yeah.
they're going to be hooked. Like, let's say you're stuck on a particular scene.
Okay.
Maybe the dialogue feels a little flat or the pacing is off.
Right.
The LLM could actually analyze that scene and then compare it to, like, millions of other scenes from literature and then offer suggestions for improvement. Like, whoa.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. It could help you, like, identify areas where the dialogue could be punchier
Yeah.
or where you could add more sensory details
Injury.
to really draw the reader in.
Absolutely.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills just thinking about that.
I know, right?
So it's not just about fixing grammar or finding synonyms. It's about actually elevating the craft of writing itself.
Exactly. It's about tapping into this vast knowledge base of an LLM to refine your technique, push your writing to the next level.
Okay.
And this is just scratching the surface.
Okay. I am on the edge of my seat. What else can these things do?
Oh, so much. We've got to talk about world building. So world building, right? Imagine you're working on a fantasy novel.
Okay.
You could feed your LLM all those little details, the geography, the cultures, the magic systems even, and it can help you make sure everything stays consistent.
Oh, that's helpful.
Throughout the entire story. But it's not just about consistency.
Yeah.
It could actually generate new ideas for you too. New places, creatures, maybe even plot points you hadn't thought of.
Whoa, hold on. So it's like having this co-author who's also like an encyclopedia and a master storyteller all rolled into one.
Exactly. And that's why I keep coming back to this idea of exponential thinking, right?
Okay.
It's not just what LLMs can do now. It's that these capabilities are just going to keep growing like crazy.
It's kind of freaking me out, not going to lie.
I know, it's wild. But it's exciting too, right? Because we're still in the early stages.
So what you're saying is what we see now is just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly. Imagine, like, down the road, collaborating with an AI to make those choose-your-own-adventure type stories.
Oh, that's cool.
Where the reader's choices actually change how the story unfolds.
Oh, that'd be so fun to write.
Right. Or even personalized stories, like tailored to what each individual reader likes.
Okay, now we're getting into sci-fi territory.
I know, right? But hey, the future's coming fast.
It really is.
Yeah.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a sec, you know?
Yeah.
For those authors who are listening who are like, all right, I'm ready to try this LLM thing.
Yeah.
Where do they even start?
Well, there are so many resources out there, but honestly, starting simple is always best. There are a bunch of free tools online that can kind of give you a taste. You can play around with generating different writing styles, make character sketches, even get help with dialogue.
That's pretty cool. And I think it's important to remember, too, like, you don't have to use these LLMs for, like, every part of your writing.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's about finding what works for you.
Right.
What sparks your creativity.
What helps you tell the best story.
Exactly.
And I think the more you experiment with it, the more you'll figure out what those strengths are and maybe some of the limitations, too.
It's like any new skill, you got to practice.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, you're not alone in this.
Oh, good.
There's a whole community of authors out there who are exploring this stuff, sharing what they're learning. You've got forums, workshops, even conferences now about AI and storytelling.
Oh, wow. That is reassuring, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes you see all the hype and you feel like you're supposed to be an expert overnight.
I know, right?
But it sounds like it's more about, like, staying curious, being willing to learn, not being afraid to just try things out.
I love that. Curiosity, that's what fuels all this innovation, right? And the world of AI and storytelling. I mean, there's so much to explore.
For sure. Now, I know we've been focusing a lot on, like, the practical stuff.
Yeah.
But I want to shift gears for a second, get a little philosophical.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
Do you think there's a risk that if we, as authors, start relying too much on AI, that our writing will become less, I don't know, less human, less authentic?
That's such an interesting question. And honestly, I think a lot of people are wrestling with that right now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I keep coming back to. LLMs, they're tools, right?
Right.
And they reflect the data that they're given.
Yeah.
They can mimic human language, sure,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have those lived experiences, those emotions, the unique perspectives that we do as humans.
Yeah, that's what makes our stories, our stories.
Exactly. And I think that's what makes human storytelling so powerful.
So it's about finding that balance
Yeah.
between using the power of these tools,
Mm-hmm.
but also not losing that heart and soul.
The voice.
Yeah, the voice
Yeah.
of our own creative expression.
I love that. It's about using LLMs to make our strengths even stronger.
Yeah.
Not replacing them altogether.
And I think the more we learn about how these tools work,
Right.
the better we'll be able to use them responsibly.
Exactly. And ethically.
Yeah. Because I think it's easy to get swept up in all the cool new tech
Mm-hmm.
and forget that, especially with AI, we got to be careful.
It's powerful, but it's still just a tool at the end of the day.
Right.
And we're the ones using it. We have the power to decide how this all unfolds, how this changes storytelling.
And that's pretty exciting.
It's incredibly exciting.
Now, I know you mentioned before, like anticipating those future trends.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to authors who want to stay ahead of the curve?
Okay, so my biggest piece of advice is to stay informed, stay engaged.
How do we do that?
There are newsletters you can subscribe to, thought leaders you can follow. The AI and storytelling space, it's really blowing up. And join those online communities, too, where people are having these discussions.
Okay, so it's not just learning the tools.
Right.
It's about understanding the bigger picture.
Yes. Where this whole thing is going, how it's going to change the way we think about writing stories.
Exact.
And that's where that exponential thinking comes in again. Right? Things are only going to speed up.
So those who can adapt, those who can evolve, those are the ones who are going to thrive.
Thrive, exactly,
Yeah.
in this new world of storytelling.
I love that. Thrive.
Yeah.
And I think that's the perfect way to transition to our final thoughts for this deep dive.
Perfect.
We've talked about like the nuts and bolts, the how-tos with LLMs,
Mm-hmm.
and the big why behind this whole exponential thinking thing.
Right.
But I want to leave everyone with something a little different, like a question. Pure what-if territory.
Ooh, I like that. Lay it on me.
Okay, so imagine this. You're working on a novel, but you're collaborating with an AI. That doesn't just know grammar rules, but knows your voice.
Whoa.
Like it gets your themes, your little quirks.
Yeah.
Even the stuff you haven't figured out how to put into words yet.
It's read all your books, sure.
Yeah.
But also all the drafts you've got stashed away, those notes on your phone.
Exactly. It knows what you're trying to say, even when you're stuck.
Powerful stuff.
So then, think about it. What kind of novel could you write? What boundaries could you push? Because it's not just about being faster.
Right.
It's about unlocking potential you didn't even know was there.
That's what I find so exciting about all this. We're not just talking new tool, we're talking new relationship with how we create.
It's almost like instead of being scared of the AI, we should flip it
Oh, interesting.
and ask, what's the AI going to learn from me? Like, what do I bring to this partnership that makes it special?
Oh, that is such a good point. Because the AI, at the end of the day, it's all about the data it's got, right?
Yeah.
If we feed it the same old stuff, cliches, predictable plots.
It's just going to give us more of that.
Exactly. But if we come in with bold ideas, our own voices, that willingness to try new things.
That's when it gets really interesting.
It's not AI replace your authors. It's AI helping authors be even more themselves.
So for everyone listening, if you're feeling that spark, that what-if energy,
Where do you go from here?
exactly. What's step one?
Honestly, don't overthink it. Just play around. There are tons of these LLM tools online, free ones.
Oh, nice.
Try generating some text, like in your novel style, see what happens.
Yeah, or get help with a scene, even just have a conversation with it for fun. This isn't about being some tech genius overnight.
Nope.
It's about staying curious, being willing to learn as you go.
And the future of writing, it's going to be shaped by those who experiment.
Who knows, maybe the next big, amazing book will be co-written by an author and their AI muse.
The people who asked, what if?
That's a future I want to be a part of. And on that note, we're going to leave you to ponder those what-ifs.
Keep diving deep.
Keep exploring, and most importantly, keep writing. Until next time.